I got tasked to give the closing remarks today, and I prepared a speech, and it has a lot of the things that most of you in this room already know or you just learned. It's got numbers like the House of Representatives has now twice passed a bill that would end marijuana prohibition and intentionally reinvest to incentivize expungements and resentencing in small businesses. It's got numbers like 25 million, which is the number of Americans who have been arrested over the last 50 years since Richard Nixon implemented the Controlled Substances Act. But, you know, it's got numbers. I got a couple 420 puns, but you guys don't want to hear that. And I'm wearing a suit, and I feel like not today. But, you know, just in closing, I'm going to go from the heart here for a moment and just say thank you to all of those who are here, all of those who are going to watch the video after we get it out, because we had a live streaming snafu. Thank you to the generations who came before, where I have the blessed fortune of being able to organize at a time when this issue is quote unquote cool, because it was not for many, many years. I met a gentleman earlier who came here from Georgia, who was telling me stories about his time in Washington State and how he was a part of the movement to get Washington State to implement a medical program, because it was something that he desperately wanted to incorporate into his healthcare regime. But the state said no. The state said he was a criminal. The state said he was a bad person. The state arrested him. The state left him with collateral consequences. So, you know, in honor of all of those who have came before, all of those who have picked up the righteous fight to challenge unjust laws and call bullshit when they see it, I want to thank you. And I know that together, just as we saw on today's stage, it's left and right and center. This is not about left or right. This is about right or wrong. Marijuana prohibition is wrong, and the people in this room are going to hold the lawmakers we just heard from accountable. If we can turn Chuck Schumer from a prohibitionist into the lead sponsor of the most comprehensive bill to end marijuana prohibition that's ever been introduced, then we can do a lot more. We got a lot more members of Congress that we got to get willing to come up here and say the things you heard tonight, and together we are going to do it. So with that, I want you to make sure you're introducing yourself to those of you who are here. I want you to build the networks of relationships. Make a new friend. Make a friend with somebody who you agree with on nothing else except for cannabis policy reform. And you only need to agree on 70% of cannabis policy reform. That's good enough. It's good enough. I assure you, I got a lot of unlikely allies who, in my previous jobs I had in politics, their organization was, to me, the devil, but now we are allies and we're working together to end marijuana prohibition. So please take this fire, take this tenacity, take the fact that you are a part of this historic moment, this first ever marijuana policy event on a 420 in the U.S. Capitol. You take this fire and you move forward, and together we are going to win. Thank you all so very much.